For more than 40 days, Goliath challenged the army of Israel, mocking and threatening all the soldiers. He laughed at them, saying that no man would be able to defeat him. But a young man, with no experience in war, fearless and full of faith, decided that the time to put an end to it was now. He not only faced Goliath, but also brought down one of the greatest symbols of oppression in history. This is the story of David versus Goliath, and what it teaches us goes beyond the fight. It's about faith, courage, and the strength of an unbreakable spirit. The threat of the giant. Historical context: the battle between the Philistines and the Israelites. It happened about 1,000 years before Christ, in a time marked by intense territorial conflicts. The Philistines were a warrior people, equipped with weapons. Advanced for their time, they were in constant war with the Israelite tribes. The army of Israel, although numerous, found itself in a state of despair. The Philistines camped in a city near Jerusalem. On the other side, from a valley called Elah, a strategic area. On one side were the Israelites, and on the other, the Philistines. The battle lines were drawn, but for a month and a half, Goliath's challenge paralyzed them. Goliath, with his immense height of nearly 3 meters, represented the personification of fear. He came day after day, morning and afternoon, to throw the same challenge.
Choose a man to fight me. If he defeats me, we will be his servants. But if I win, you will become our slaves.
This challenge was not just a physical fight, but also a form of humiliation. Goliath was challenging not just the army of Israel, but the people of Israel, own God of the Israelites. With each provocation, the morale of the army fell even further. And King Saul, even being a man of courage, had no idea how to defeat this giant. But all of that changed with the arrival of a simple shepherd, David. The young shepherd with a heart. Fierce David was not a soldier. He had no armor or military training. His skill came from the field, where he was responsible for taking care of the family's sheep. However, David had something that many of the great warriors did not possess: an unwavering faith in God and immense confidence in his abilities. He knew that with divine help, any adversity could be overcome. When David was sent by his father to bring food to his brothers, who were on the battlefield, he found the Israeli army paralyzed by fear. His brothers were among the soldiers who were hiding from Goliath's threat, and David soon realized what was happening. Upon hearing Goliath's challenging words, David was outraged. He couldn't understand how someone could mock the army of the Lord, and with that, he questioned the soldiers.
Why is no one going to face this Philistine? He is challenging the God of Israel, the Lord of hosts.
His outrage quickly spread among the soldiers, but no one had the courage to step up. His own brothers rebuked him, saying he was nothing but an immature and arrogant young man. But David, without hesitation, went to King Saul and asked for permission to face Goliath. Saul, surprised by David's boldness, tried to dissuade him, arguing that he had no combat experience. However, David responded with conviction.
When a lion or a bear came to attack my sheep, I went after it and killed it. The Lord delivered me from those beasts, and he will deliver me from this Philistine.
Saul, realizing there was no other option, allowed David to go into battle, but he offered him his own armor. However, David, uncomfortable with the heavy armor and unfamiliar with it, he decided to take everything off and go into battle just with his sling, a staff, and 5 smooth stones. David was ready to face his destiny, trusting in God's strength and his own courage. He knew that the most important thing wasn't physical strength, but courage and faith. The confrontation between the small and the giant. When David entered the battlefield, Goliath laughed. He looked at the young shepherd and mocked him, saying, "You send me a boy with a stick?"
Do you think I'm a dog that you come at me like this?
David, however, did not back down. He looked directly into the giant's eyes and responded with firm words.
You come at me with a sword, spear, and shield, but I come against you. In the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, whom you have challenged. Today, the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and everyone will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord gives victory.
Goliath charged with his sword raised, but David was quicker. He took a stone from his bag. He placed it in his sling and started to spin it quickly. At the right moment, he released the stone with all the strength he had, and it flew through the air, hitting Goliath directly in the forehead. The giant, surprised, stumbled backward and fell flat on his back, completely defeated. The army of Israel, watching in astonishment as the battle unfolded, let out a victory shout. David, with unwavering courage and faith, had defeated the giant that everyone feared. The Philistine army, terrified by the fall of their leader, fled in despair, and Israel finally won the battle. The legacy of David and the fight against our giants. The story of David versus Goliath is undoubtedly one of the most inspiring in biblical history. But it goes beyond just being a story of physical overcoming. David didn't defeat Goliath because he was stronger or faster, but because he had a deep trust in God and unwavering courage. He knew he wasn't fighting alone. And that teaches us a fundamental lesson. The battle is not just in our strength, but in our faith and determination. How many times do we face giants in our lives, whether it's a financial problem, a professional challenge, or a personal obstacle? What defines us is not the size of the problem, but our courage to face it with faith and perseverance. David, the young shepherd, defeated the giant because he believed that, with God's help, anything is possible. And just like David, we too can overcome any giant that comes our way. If you have the courage to face the struggle with faith, determination, and confidence in your own resources. The impact of a story. Millennia later, the story of David and Goliath still resonates in people's hearts. It's a story that transcends cultures and eras because it speaks to something universal: the struggle against life's difficulties. We all have our giants, but it's our attitude towards them that defines our victory. And the truth is that, just like David, you can also face your Goliath. Sometimes, all we need is to believe that we are capable, that we are not alone, and that faith will give us the strength to go beyond our limits. Want to know from you: what is your Goliath? What has been challenging you, scared you, or made you feel small? Today, I invite you to look at these giants through David's eyes and see that, with faith, courage, and perseverance, you can win any battle. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel to show your faith. And keep following our content. And look, there's another amazing video on the channel that you can't miss. Click there to watch. See you in the next video.